If you could show Mozart a modern song to blow his mind, what song would you show him? Sir Duke by Stevie Wonder. Probably. Classic bit of jazz mixed with pop. And big band. Really just a short history of modern music. A fifth of Beethoven. Falco, Rock Me Amadeus. Ram Ranch. Mozart was into his juvenile humor. So I'd go with Blink-182 Fuck a Dog. Rock'n'Roll McDonald's by Wesley Willis. Vita's The Seventh Element. Darude Sandstorm. I would play Aqua's Barbie Girl just to watch him willingly return to his grave before the song finishes. Mozart vs. Skrillex epic rap battle. He'd be so confused. Also show him some 12-tone Schoenberg stuff. Mozart was born and raised in Austria and spoke mostly German with French and Italian. 100% I'm playing him Rammstein. Probably the concert version of Mein Teil with all the explosions and theatrics. Then maybe some Gojira to show him what the French are up to. Possibly some Tool if he's curious. Then some baby metal because something tells me he'd get Japan in a weird way. Funny, I was just talking about this in another thread. I'd start by playing him some of the composers that came after him, Stravinsky, Copland, that kind of stuff, then some film scores, like from Williams, Horner, Barry, etc. I'd love to see what he'd think of jazz and rock and roll too. If I could only pick one thing, it would be Rite of Spring by Stravinsky. I would also love to see Mozart listen to Life on Mars by David Bowie. The Great Gig in the Sky by Pink Floyd, or Exit Music, for a film, by Radiohead. Voodoo Child, Slight Return by Hendrix. Megalovania. Honestly, show him a Mozart song. The fact that he's still a household name almost 300 years later would probably blow his mind more than any one song from the future. Probably a Philip Glass or Stephen Reich work of minimalism. Mozart was avant-garde for his day. He would be blown away by the creative freedom and dexterity of technique in a composition by Glass or Reich. Just take him to any public place. In his time, musicians and composers were rare and you hardly ever heard music. Nowadays you can listen to music playing in the background basically everywhere, and we even consider it weird to be sitting in silence at a place. He'd be used to a world where the majority doesn't have music, and yet pretty much anywhere you took him there'd always be some music track playing. Peanut butter jelly time. Are all of you people seriously gonna tell me that you're not gonna rickroll the dude? Come on. I'm disappointed. Never gonna give you up is the only right answer. Edit. Money Machine by 100 GECS. Aphex Twin, Mount Street Michelle plus St. Michael's Mount. Duel of Fates, Star Wars. Dance of Eternity or Octavarium by Dream Theater. Rappin' for Jesus. Johnny B. Good. A Day in the Life, The Beatles. Ecstasy of Gold, or Master of Puppets, or Bangarang, or something by Hans Zimmer. I'd really like to know what he thinks of a modern composer. Starless by King Crimson. I'm sure that song would be a trip and a half for him, especially the instrumental breakdown part. Also, Supper's Ready by Genesis and Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen. Autobahn. Kraftwerk. Crazy Frog, Axel F. La Via Strangiato Rush, or 2112. A few options come to mind. 1. 4:33 by John Cage. 2. Giant Steps by John Coltrane. 3. Threnody by Penderecki. 4. Ghosts of Perdition by Opeth. 5. Never Gonna Give You Up by Rick Astley. That'd keep him entertained. Any Bobby Shmurda or Chief Keef song. Time to show him. Painkiller by Judas Priest. Freaking gnarly song that blew my mind when I heard it, and I'm actually into metal. I'm not sure how he'd feel about modern pop music. I'd probably ease him in gently with some of the more recent classical composers, as that would be more in his comfort zone. Then we'll start on the gabber stuff. Play for him. Let It Be by the Beatles. Mozart. That fucking Pachelbel. Eiffel 65 I'm Blue. Anything by Michael Jackson. Both artists were robbed of a childhood due to their father's milking of their musical talents, and thus grew up to act juvenile and immature, using music as the prime way to express themselves. Bangarang by Skrillex. Just imagine how confused he would be. Giant Steps by John Coltrane. In terms of musical theory, It's basically the standard for complexity within jazz. This is a pretty good breakdown of why. But essentially the song changes keys so frequently and so quickly while still remaining cohesive that only true masters can keep up. In the video, they compare the song to trying to have a conversation with someone who changes their language every 3-ish seconds. You're trying to keep up as they communicate one cohesive thought while switching between English, German, Korean, Russian, Spanish, etc., etc. I think Mozart would be intrigued by jazz anyway. But dissecting giant steps would hopefully prove a worthy challenge for one of the greatest musical minds in history. Anything by Infant Annihilator. Friday, Rebecca Black. I'd show him some of John Williams's movie scores. I'm pretty sure he'd really like them. YYZ by Rush. I think playing Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train and Trick Daddy's Let's Go samples the first song would show him how people still create totally new music out of samples or inspiration from others. Plus he hears two genres that are totally different. Through the Fire and Flames. Edit. Thanks for the award, kind stranger. If he showed up today, would play NWA's Fuck the Police. Gotta get him caught up on culture. Master of Puppets. Banana Phone. Peanut Butter Jelly Time. Chocolate Rain. Hide Yo Kids Hide Yo Wife. And anything by Turquoise Jeep. Internet classics would blow his mind for any number of reasons. Not the least of which being, why? I would be very interested to see Mozart's reaction to the Beatles. A Day in the Life. Or in fact a lot of Beatles songs that have classical influences, such as Eleanor Rigby, Yesterday, because or even the entire Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band album. Anything by Billy Joel. You Play the Piano Man for Piano Men. Comfortably Numb, Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd's Echoes. Some possibilities. 1. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen because he would know who Galileo and Figaro are. 2. When I Get You Alone by Robin Thicke, self-explanatory if you know the song. 3. I Am the Walrus by the Beatles for its rock and roll use of strings. 4. Only Shallow by My Bloody Valentine cause that'll mess with his head. 5. Rock Me Amadeus by Falco because he needs to hear that. Achilles' Last Stand, Led Zeppelin. Interstellar, the main theme by Hans Zimmer. Gucci Gang. Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen or Umbrella by Rihanna. Ghost Love Score by Nightwish. Bitches Brew. Miles Davis. Paranoid Android, Radiohead. Or really any Radiohead or Johnny Greenwood composition. Absolute geniuses.